In today's video, we'll be separating facilities management into three categories: hard, soft, and specialist FM. Welcome everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, if you find these videos useful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single episode. So today we're looking at the three different types of facilities management services. Broadly speaking, we can separate FM into hard services, soft services, and specialist or technical services. Hard services usually cover the more hands-on technical sides of FM. This would include engineering, maintenance, and building fabrics. Some obvious examples would be lighting, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, lifts and escalators, and so on and so forth. Of course, there are some less obvious examples as well. Building management systems, or BMS, could be one example. Now, BMS systems are usually used to monitor the performance of your assets, but of course they do need maintaining in their own right. Soft services then are less technical and more people focused. Examples include cleaning, catering, or waste management. Generally speaking, soft services are provided by people, for people. Whereas hard services are more concerned with keeping a building physically maintained, soft services are more about providing services that directly impact the building's users. There's an old saying in FM that if you took a building and turned it upside down, everything that fell out would be related to soft services, whereas everything that stayed put would be nailed down, an integral part of the building, and therefore related to hard services. You get the idea. Of course, there are some grey areas. Some services have aspects that cover both categories. Security, for example. Manned guarding is provided by people, for people, therefore will be classed as a soft service. But CCTV and access control, also elements of security, those are hardwired into the building, and therefore they come under the heading of hard services. I like to think of it like this. If something went wrong, how would you fix it? If you can fix it with a spanner, it's probably a hard service. If you need to fix it with a conversation, it's probably a soft service. Generally speaking, both hard and soft services can be delivered by in-house teams, or they can be outsourced. The decision on which of these to go for will very much depend on the needs of the business. Now, we've already covered this in another video in depth, so if you want to find out more, there should be a card popping up at the top of the screen right now. Click on that and find out more, and I'll post a link in the description below. But there is one other type of FM service, and generally speaking, this can only be delivered by an outside organisation. These are known as specialist services. Specialist services are those which are either used so rarely that it's not worth having an in-house team on site to deliver them, or where the knowledge and expertise required to deliver them is so specialised that it's just not feasible for a generalist FM to manage. An example of the former would be asbestos removal. You don't need a permanent asbestos removal team on site. You'll only need to use them if you discover asbestos on your site, and even then only if it's likely to be disturbed, such as during a refurb project. Another example would be pest control. Hopefully this is something you'll only need to deal with very occasionally. If you have such a problem that you need a permanent pest control team on site, you may want to consider whether your buildings are even fit for purpose at all. As for the latter, an example would be a staff nursery or a creche for visitors. Yes, this would be a permanent feature of the building. However, the specialist knowledge required to run it is well beyond the scope of a facilities manager when you consider safeguarding and education, curriculum and so on. So you get a third party to run it for you. Now, facilities managers come in all shapes and sizes. Some will be responsible just for hard services, some just for soft services, and others will oversee both. So which category do you fall into? Leave a comment below, let us know. Whichever category you fall into, you need to know the difference between hard, soft and specialist services. And that leads us on to today's takeaway. Understanding the difference between hard and soft services is one of the core fundamentals of facilities management. Now in truth, there's not so much of a practical application to this knowledge, but in order to be a great FM, you need to have a really solid foundation on which to build. you need to understand the terminology and be able to speak on the same level as other people within the industry. The concept of hard and soft services is very often spoken about, and if you understand them, you have a much greater chance of coming across as credible, knowledgeable, and competent. This is especially important when dealing with contractors or more experienced members of the facilities management team. Additionally, if you're responsible for just one side of the equation, there's likely somebody else in your team who's responsible for the other. So for example, if you're a soft services facilities manager, there's probably a hard services facilities manager within your team as well. Understanding what comes under your remit as opposed to what they are responsible for can help to build a better working relationship with that person, which leads to a more effective, more productive FM operation overall. Similarly, if you're in a more senior role and you have FMs reporting to you, you need to have a good understanding of what their responsibilities are. You may even find yourself in the position where you have to decide, should you employ 2 FMs, one for hard services, one for soft services, or just the one to cover everything. As always, this decision will largely depend on the needs of the business and the overall business and FM strategy. Okay, that's all for today. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you'd like to know more about facilities management qualifications, training, recruitment, or consultancy, head on over to www.xenongroup.co.uk or look us up on LinkedIn. We'll be happy to talk to you. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.